Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be building a second mini pond. So about 2 months ago I built this one, and to my surprise it's been quite successful. So I thought I would give it another go, seeing as though I had a spare barrel, and today we're going to be building a second one. So I'm going to show you everything I did and everything I used to build it. So I just got back from a local garden centre and picked up a range of pond plants. I've purposely chose different species than what I've used in the first version of the pond, just because I wanted it to look quite different, and I've purposely picked grassy, tall, reedy plants because I'm going to use a piece of wood to provide some structure and support for them, and I just think that it'll look nice with these plants sort of intertwined and weaved through the various structures of the wood. So it's quite a simple build. It's literally some plants. I'm using a piece of Talawa wood, a plastic barrel, some pea gravel and some cable ties. So as you can see, the Talawa wood has a lot of textures, it has a lot of prongs coming off it, and I figured it'd make a nice backdrop. So I wanted to attach it to the back of the barrel. The barrel itself isn't that big, so I couldn't fit it inside along with the plants. So I went ahead and drilled some holes in the top of the barrel, and then I lined up where I wanted the wood and then just added some zip ties. It doesn't look particularly neat at this point, but you're not going to be able to see it by the time I've finished planting. So I wanted to be able to plant all the plants together, so I bought a pond plant basket. However, it was too big, and just as with the previous build, I ended up cutting it in half and then reattaching it back together using cable ties, and I just managed to make it a little bit smaller so that it would actually fit in the pond. I then went and washed a few scoops of pea gravel. This stuff was really dirty, and it has still made the pond a little bit murky, but I cleaned it off as best I could, and that's going to provide a base for the bottom of the pond. It'll also help house beneficial bacteria as well. So now for the fun part, the planting. So I'm using some aquatic pond soil. So I just got this from Maidenhead Aquatics. I don't think it's anything fancy, but it seemed to do a really good job with the other pond. So I figured, why change something that isn't broke? So I filled the basket, and then I just started taking the pots out of their little baskets and planting them in this one. And my rabbit Arlo decided that he would try and sample them and have a little nom on them. It took me a while before I realised he was actually eating them, but it is hard to have nice things in the garden when you've just got rabbits that want to taste everything. So there's nothing special about what I'm doing. I'm keeping the soil that they've come with on, and just keeping all the roots and everything intact. I'm literally just filling the gaps with the aquatic compost that I've bought. And just as with aquascaping, I'm keeping the tallest plants at the back and the smaller plants at the front. And then it wasn't long before my other rabbit Otis made an appearance. He's normally the well-behaved one, but even he thought he would decide to taste some pond plants. They must be really tasty because they just couldn't stop coming over and trying to sample them. And once that was done, the pea gravel that came on top of the pond plants, you might have been able to see that I was tipping it out. Well, I went back and put that back on top. That just kind of keeps the soil down. If the water level rises, it just stops it like floating out. And it also looks quite decorative and quite nice as well. So with that ready, it was time to see where I actually wanted to place it within the pond. So after placing it in, I realised that it wasn't actually tall enough. I think the water level was going to come a little bit too high over the plants. They are zone 1 and zone 2 plants, so that might have been okay. But as they're quite expensive, I didn't want to risk it, so I just popped a brick in the bottom just to give it some extra height. And it shouldn't really do anything to the quality of the water, but I'm not really going to keep fish in this. This is purely just for decorative purposes. So I put a brick in the bottom, and then I went back and placed the plant basket back on top, and it seemed to be the perfect height. It came just in line with the water level, and that is what I've done with my previous pond, and the plants seem to be doing fantastic. So again, I didn't want to change something that isn't broken. It seems to have been successful, so I just figured I'd do the same with this one. And that's pretty much it. It's that simple. So all that was left to do was just to fill it up with water. I didn't use all the plants. I had a spare iris left over, so I just put that in a little pot with some pea gravel in the bottom and some water. I'm just going to put it in the garden somewhere and see if it grows. I really wanted to use it because it grows beautiful purple flowers when it actually comes into flowering. And as you can see, the bunnies decided to have another sample of it. The thing that I love the most about these ponds is that they are super easy to do and anyone can create them. They're relatively inexpensive and they're just really rewarding. For some people, they might not have the space, they might not have the budget, or even the time to build a pond in the garden. I would absolutely love an outdoor pond, but I don't really have the time and it is a lot of work and money. So these little mini patio ponds can be just as rewarding. I really enjoy watching them grow, and they are little kind of wildlife havens. I get a lot of birds and bees and things come in. I see a lot of birds drinking from it. There's bees going into the flowers and pollinating and things. So yeah, it is really nice to watch. And now I've got two. So I would happily keep building these. They are really fun. I don't keep fishing them. It purely is for decorative purposes, but maybe you might want to try one. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one.